Alright. Kickstarting another week with the live streams. And I immediately just thought of something. God damn it. I don't have any cocktail skewers. Or do I? Can do this. Okay. Move the porno VHSs. And get the suit. There we go. Use this one for the first time ever. Hey, Safa, how are you this evening? Oh God, you want to get started stream? It's about the Iranian embassy. What the fuck about the Iranian embassy? What have I missed? Iran was behind anti-Semitic attacks. Was it? ASIO identified Iran being behind at least 2 anti-Semitic attacks. Islamic Revolutionary Guard responsible for internal security and international security. Mostly active against the Iranian diaspora. Senate committee received submissions from Iranian Australians concerned for their safety. Okay, uncovering their role and the way that anti-Semitic attacks in Australia takes our understanding of its operations in our country a new direction. I mean, yeah, let's be real. The Iranian regime fucking sucks. Hello, Heine. Hello, Justin. And what was the dramatic news out of Canberra, Justin? Oh, is it what we're talking about? The Iranian diplomats being kicked out? So... Oh, gosh. Wouldn't it be a shock if we found out that ASIO had overreached with their blame and predictions? ASIO got shot stealing weed from the Iranian embassy. As fun facts of Random House. House with a fence and armed guards. Yeah, the fact is, okay, an absolutely awful totalitarian, religious fundamentalist freaking regime. Pack of assholes, honestly. Actually, the fun one. Australia Post halted most parcel postage to US immediately because of weirdness with, I think, not understanding what Trump's tariff policy is in practice. Oh, goddamn ridiculous. But you know what? Shit happens. International tensions and shenanigans and all that sort of thing. Yeah, well, on the plus side, Suffer, I almost never send anything to the US. It's been an extremely long time since I have. Will the US be a third world country in 12 months? No. They've got too much wealth and military power. That would also make sense, Justin. Australia removing its own diplomats before kicking out the Iranian ambassador to avoid any counterpunches and hostages. Yes. So if you had salad and 2 cheese sandwiches, I made another. Continuing with my low carb thing. Some stuff I cooked up the other day, mixed up with a sauce and covered in cheese and baked it. So it was like, I don't know, was it mushroom, onion, chicken, other stuff, sauce? It was freaking yum. You had a mini brownout. What on earth is a mini brownout? A brownout's like a mini blackout. What's a mini brownout? You had no oil, couldn't have Sunday eggs. You could have poached your eggs. Just get a YouTube tutorial on how to poach eggs. All right, I might. I'm not making any videos tonight, but I might make myself a drink. Drink it, 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 drink it. What will I make though? Actually, I had an idea. Okay. See, this is me trying to find a use for my Applejack I made, my barrel aged Applejack, which is in here. Very orange from being barrel aged. Now, what would be a good whiskey to have with it? Actually, I haven't had this black flame for a little while. Oh, wait, no, one of the fruity ones. Pedro Jimenez. Do a Starwood special. Pedro Jimenez whiskey. So do that. And what else is this? See what that's like. Savior of human eyes. Alrighty. Alright. See what that's like. Decide if it needs something more. What? Okay, I'm just forgetting shit I wanted. I'm going to have to leave the room. I had U Foods for lunch in the office on Monday. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Okay. Got the orange I wanted. And look, I also there's a little bit of eggnog left in this bottle. I'm going to have that later. Like, dessert for the stream. You lost electricity really fast. Is that what you call a brownout? Okay. When the power just flicks off and then back on. All right. Orange oil in there. And trim some of this pith. Quite honestly, my boss was sick, like lost her voice, and I normally would have been in the office today. She would have normally been in the office today, and I had some meetings with her, so I would have gone in. But she's working from home while she's recovering. So I didn't go into the office today, which I'm really glad because it was like windy and rainy and shit. Sorry, my silly sense of humor, my brain was just going, oh, what would you call a brown? I was like, it's a scary blackout that makes you shit your pants. Brown out. Get it? Brown out your butt. I am a sophisticated Shakespeare level comedian. Stick around for more quality intellectual laughs. All right, get a cherry. Stab. There we go. Got a cherry. Me, immature. That was sophisticated intellectual satire. Something for the ages. Wait, what does the internet say? I say, what is a brownout versus blackout? Temporary reduction in voltage causing dimmed lights and malfunctioning electronics. Blackout is a complete loss of power. Honey, watch the South Park short. Shows the boys waiting through trailers in a cinema. They're all shit things. I think I remember that episode. Yeah. Let's need some sugar syrup. Probably some bitters and Ceylon. That's my sugar syrup. I'm going to have to make some more of this. So I am. Old-fashioned bitters. Old-fashioned bitters. And some Ceylon. Celine? Celine Dion? How do we pronounce it? So many possibilities. Everybody, hello from Queensland. Are you on holidays? How long have I been on for? For 14 minutes? So if your TV had an Android update, bloody updating a TV. What a bunch of bullshit that is. Redonkulous. I actually we mentioned the South Park guys. I did share the trailer on the Discord, but I stumbled across uh, this doco, Casa Bonita, Mi Amor. Long time South Park watchers will remember the Casa Bonita episode, based on a real place that's absolutely insane. This place. Someone bought a disused shopping mall in the 70s, a big sprawling shopping mall, and did a really unhinged Disneylandish fit out that's meant to be reminiscent of Mexico on the inside. I called it Casa Bonita. It was huge, and unsurprisingly, it shut down during COVID. Uh, because I imagine it's incredibly expensive to run. So the instant it had to close because of COVID, is probably like, oh yeah, we're going to go broke and we can't keep going. Uh, and so the whole thing was like, it's never going to open, but it had been a fixture in Colorado for decades. And people go, and so the doco is, can the South Park guys buy Casa Bonita and bring it up to a new wondrous state, because it's incredibly run down. It's really worth watching. I quite enjoyed it. Who's taking microdoses of ketamine? Are you taking microdoses of ketamine home for the elderly? Are you intrigued how that works for you, if that's what you're doing? Or is that in South Park? Bad weather in Perth, says Safra. Everybody says bad weather for the last 4 months. We got a rainy week. Oh, Randy from South Park is microdosing ketamine. So is he an Elon Musk fan who, rumor has it, is not microdosing ketamine? He's taking quite strong recreational levels of it. Getting advice from ChatGPT. Yeah, they'd had him talking to ChatGPT for a while. It's much better with a little bit of sugar syrup and bitters and saline. Still not a huge legendary winner, but I'm experimenting, and you never know what's going to happen when you experiment. Oh god! And I finally watched the horror movie Bring Her Back, made by the Philippou brothers, who got famous on YouTube with the channel Raka Raka. And I met them once, and they were nice guys. And I'm always quite excited, when someone on YouTube does good, and that's their second feature film. Very well made. I'd love to, like, if I got a chance to interview the Philippou brothers or either of them, sit them down and says, okay, so I watched your movie. What the fuck is wrong with you? Her ladyship of expletives. That's my one spoiler for Bring Her Back. I would sit them down and go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Very well made movie. You kind of have different sorts of horror movies. You have like monster movies, slasher movies. You have suspense movies. And then you have what tends to get called body horror. And there's actually a little bit of a mix of stuff in Bring It Back, but I think I'd probably put this in body horror territory. Sonic 4, I haven't watched any of the Sonic movies. Oh yeah, Her Ladyship, freaking Talk to Me. That was so fucking good for a debut feature. It was incredible. This is green, although this is Yeah, Safa, like, okay, you were talking about difference between yellow and green. This is definitely green, but this is, I think this would qualify as an olive green. So it's not green green. Ladyship remind you of Crypt TV if they hadn't sold out. Yeah, the Philippou brothers are quite funny and dedicated to their friends. Ah, I do. I wonder what it was like on the set because there are quite, again, no spoilers. There are quite young kids in it, like pre-teens. You're making a horror movie with kids. I'm sure you've got a psychiatrist or a psychologist on set sitting down with them and going, "Hey, okay, you know none of this is real, right? Are you cool with it? Are you having trouble sleeping? Lots of fake blood on the set." Oh god, it just reminded me of a funny story on a podcast, and I don't know if it was real. Um, Talking about 28 years later, which I also think is worth um, seeing. But there's a lot of dick out action in 28 days later, and there's a kid in it. The kid's in almost every shot, and there's apparently some uh, law, like a shot in England, an adult can't have their dick out when there's a kid on set. So all the dicks were prosthetic, but they look real. And and the person on the podcast was joking. Like, was there someone on set saying to the kid, like, okay, in the next scene, a guy's going to be running with his dick out, but don't worry, it's a fake dick. We're still talking about the colors. Slightly greenish yellow. Look, this is in Safra. This is actually in a mustardy thing, but also, like I said, it's going to come down to uh, how your monitor renders color as well. Her ladyship, Crypt TV used to be really good. Monster Universe was awesome. Hooked up with Prime, if you remember, and it sucked. Hopefully that ask, was Crypt TV? Is that like Tales from the Crypt? Uh, no, Crypt TV was a channel. There you go. I feel like they maybe were inspired by Tales from the Crypt, calling it Crypt TV, but I don't know anything about it. Yeah. Hopefully, the thing about the blue and gold dress, um, what that reminded us is colors don't exist in isolation. Colors are influenced by everything else that's around. So you're looking at something on a screen. It's not an objective truth. Besides the fact we can all register colors differently. Like there's a website called something like Is My Green Your Green? And it does all these different shades of like teal and whatnot. And you click, oh, I think that's green or I think that's blue. And it tells you sort of how much you have in common with the rest of the population. Uh, but yes, the blue gold dress thingy was very interesting how people perceived it. I mean, I started to get annoyed because, of course, it's the internet, so someone's going to be a fuckwit. People were definitely sharing around versions where they color shifted it, and so I don't know why is it, because people are fucking dickheads. And hello, Madam Butterfly. So, ladyship, your favorite on Crypt TV was Mohawk. She's a ghost girl, or Stoneheart. Well, that was the name of the character in the Game of Thrones Books, which didn't make it into the Game of Books series. Okay, for you, her ladyship is black and light gold. Yeah, well, it's black and olive green. But again, like you're saying, the number of variables, my camera, your monitor, how you perceive colors. Because again, that's the thing. Like we get taught that's blue, that's red, that's yellow, but individuals experience those colors differently. Like I've got an orange that's orange. Uh, some people would see this more yellow than other people see it. Oh, nice, Justin, getting Guzman and Gomez dividends. What's the dividends? They come around and give you a burrito? And for the elderly, what have you put on Le Discord? Let me have a look. Actually, didn't have the Discord open, which was irresponsible of me. Oh, what a... Sorry, that is a great picture. Thank you for sharing it, John. What do we got on here? I only put the Stan can't keep his mouth shut at the movies. Oh dear. Yeah, so some people will say orange, some people would say light orange, some people would see it as more yellow. It's perceptions. We all perceive differently, and we can never really know what other people's perceptions is. The one that really does my head in is you yourself as an individual. You not only can't control how others see you, you can never actually know how people see you. You can suspect, you can ask them, you can interpret what they tell you, but you cannot truly understand how they perceive you. You can try. Ladyship, Trump's fake tan. Ooh, talk about the weird blotches on Trump's hand that they put bad makeup on. I think he's dying. So that's fun. Nice, $1.13 dividends. Justin, time to retire. Yeah. That could have been the topic for tonight's stream. To do these pictures of the Justin. Sorry, I'll bring it up. Justin put it on the Discord. Actually, where is it here? So, so you know what I'm talking about. So, on the left, photo of Trump taken today. That's interesting because he's been trying to cover that black mark on his hand with some really badly matched makeup. And then there's the Queen just before she died had black marks on her hand. And this thing with Trump and the black mark on his hand has been going on for ages. But what cracks me up is when they put the makeup trying to cover it up, it's like super fucking obvious and it's not blended to his skin tone. Do they not have any makeup artists? Home for the elderly. Intel shares bought in 98. Are they worth heaps more than you paid for them? Justin, fun. Yeah, one day we are going to wake up and find out Trump's dead. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in 10 years. Who knows? I know exactly, home for the elderly. It's really common for older people to bruise like that. I still think he's probably dying. Well, Heine, you're a share trader. Yeah, the US government's buying a stake in Intel, aren't they? The whole thing is they're going to move chip manufacturing to America, which is probably bullshit, but who knows? Ladyship, they have it censored here where don't even get to see his hands or legs. Not seeing the protests. Good Lord. It's all just so weird. Justin, I'd give it a 50-50 chance of Trump dying in office, honestly. He's old and unfit, and his brain's certainly turning to pudding. Nice, Heine. Made $58 on Intel. Time to retire. I'm just going to keep saying that. If anyone says anything about buying shares, I'm just going to say time to. I thought, no, your shares dropped like crazy. Oh no. Yeah, ladyship. It is weird, but it's also typical propaganda from despot regimes, denying truth, trying to cover things about the office. Safa, were you surprised Biden did? Biden never looked that unhealthy. I mean, yes, brain pudding, but he never looked that unhealthy. Trump just looks fucking unhealthy. Plus, his brain is pudding. He has a lot of trouble making coherent sentences. And he always had trouble, but even more so now. Ladyship living in an idiocracy movie. Yeah, understandable. That is a good point, Justin. Chip manufacturing in Taiwan or China is very high risk with international tensions. And you're saying there's a plan if China invade Taiwan, destroy the chip factory. Well, you do get, I think, a significant majority of people in Taiwan are quite opposed to the idea of China taking them over. And there would be some pretty significant resistance, which, of course, is just going to mean pretty significant bloodshed because the CCP, bunch of bastards. And I think they get a lot of zealots in their army. Anyway, I'm going to have some eggnog, very unseasonal. Yum. That's really good. I'm going to drink all my aged eggnog and make some more for actual Christmas. Even though, like it's a cold weather drink, so now's the appropriate time of year to drink it. I have to talk to my peeps at work. I made some to take into work, and we haven't done it. I think we're having a team lunch on Monday. Maybe I'll say, hey, should I bring the eggnog? Be dessert after the team lunch. Yum. Fidelity, you bought 5K shares, $50 a share. A month later, they went down $29. What are they now? You've held on to them ever since. I mean, it kind of reminds me like, I don't know, was it five? I forget. It was like years ago, someone convinced me to buy some crypto, and then it all tanked in the 6 months after I bought it. And I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. But I didn't sell anything. I just held it all. And now, however many years later, it's worth twice as much as I paid for it. Or theoretically, I could sell it and get twice as much as I paid for it. Still not selling though. Wait to see what happens. Ability. You reckon the price will eventually go up? Break even by the time kids are 50. God damn. Well, what a bummer. Oh God. Okay, it's still only 25 US dollars. And they've been on a downward slide for 5 years. Holy shit, no, like 5 years ago, they were 65 US dollars. And they've gone like as low as 19 US dollars in the last year. Holy shit, that's nasty. That is fucking nasty. Oof. That's some nasty shit. Oh, man, that eggnog is actually really good. If I wasn't iffy about sending a dairy product through the mail, I might share some eggnog. It's pretty gosh darn yummy, though. So did I mention I actually ordered some new cocktail shirts? I don't know when they're going to arrive. In fact, because I'm getting from these, factories in China, I'm always slightly worried I'm going to get ripped off. But I've bought from these guys multiple times, and it's always been fine. Oh, nice! Give me something from Australia Zoo. Nice. Tasty, tasty. Wait a sec. What am I doing here? What Gmail am I logged into here? Like, I couldn't find my fucking order confirmation for these shirts. It started to freak me out. But I did check on my PayPal. I was like, yeah, you're paying these guys. What email account am I logged into here? Okay. Actually, that's okay. The date. That's what I need. I need the date. PayPal. When did I? Oh, wait. When I just thought of something else. No, don't want to do that. Okay. Ooh. You know what? Tapped on something I didn't mean to. I don't care. All is chaos. Okay. I'm trying to find the date when my PayPal thing happened. My pay in full was on the 17th of August. Okay. So I need to see my emails for the 17th of August. Okay, not. Oh, wait a sec. The way they shift this up, 17th August. Oh, damn. Where's 17th? That's what we want. Okay. Let's see. Why do I not see? Or see, I get all their freaking marketing emails in here. Okay, what the fuck? What primary for the 17th of August? What's here? Twitch, Oatmeal, Google, Twitch. No, okay. There is definitely nothing there. Should I panic? Maybe, maybe not. Am I saving money on no UFoods? Well, yes. Because I'm making my own food mostly. I mean, I still got a week's worth of UFoods, but I'm not ordering it anymore. Wait, what Gmail am I logged into on this browser? Oh, okay, that's stupid. All right, I'm going to try and sort this out. No, how about I'm going to try something. Okay, I'm getting myself there confused. At gmail.com. Wait, was that it? Yes, please send me a verification code. Okay. Just checking something. There we go. Loading, loading, loading. Oh, it's so exciting. Technology. It's like, is it going to load ever? I've just got like a little loading thing going on. Pretending it's definitely doing something. God, it's so annoying. TDK does amazing things to me. This okay, you would know TDK does amazing things to my system. The Maxwell tapes. I don't know anything about the Maxwell tapes. Nationals MP got a vanilla slice tattoo. Well, Nationals are broadly fucking idiots. I don't want to get all jargony on you, but broadly speaking, Nationals MPs are dense motherfuckers. So they're the sort of people who do something that's stupid as fuck, like. Okay, so Maxwell's interview with the DOJ got released. I assume there's nothing in it. I assume there's nothing of any value in it. There's no actual revelation. Okay, well, Gmail's having a fucking seizure because I tried to sign in then. Okay. Oof. Next. Password. Oh, sorry. I have no idea if it's Gmail fucking up or this laptop fucking up. But anyway. Trump's jealous of Obama getting a Nobel Peace Prize. Also, I'm just going to throw in Obama getting the Nobel Peace Prize was fucking bullshit. It was just stupid. He got the Peace Prize for what? What did he do that justified giving him the Nobel Peace Prize? It's fucking horseshit. It was just this thing. Oh, so excited. There's a black president. Not that I'm particularly defending Trump, but Obama's Nobel Peace Prize was absolute horseshit. I suffer. We were talking about that the other day. The California governor, actually, Gavin Newsom, piece of shit. All the political parties have people in them who are pieces of shit. Gavin Newsom is a typical Democrat piece of shit. It's like, yeah, okay, ha ha ha, he's mocking Trump. The Nintendo Lunchbox was saying that earlier. Is Trump about to die? Maybe. And what happens then? Do things get better, worse, the same? Who knows? Justin, it is true Trump is jealous of Obama, period. And of course, there's an entire spectrum of things where Obama is better than Trump. And I can't think of anything where Trump's better than Obama. But Vance is the Nazi one. Vance is just a slimy little opportunistic couch fucker, as Nintendo Lunchbox puts it. Holy shit, that was a funny joke someone did on Twitter in the lead up to the last US presidential election. Someone, it was not even a big account, just casually saying, I forget the exact tweet, but it was something along the lines of, well, if, Trump wins, or he's just saying like, JD Vance is the first vice presidential candidate to admit to fucking a couch, and then quoted a page from his book, Hillbilly Elegy. And it wasn't real, but it was just, the tweet was so casually done with a reference that it like felt true. And a bunch of people went, oh my God, did JD Vance talk about fucking a couch in his book? Because he talked about, drug abuse in his family and whatnot. So he talked about a bunch of wacky shit. So maybe he talked about fucking a couch. He didn't. It was completely false. But geez, it caught people's imagination. Oh shit. Sorry, I was trying to throw a picture. Yes. Nintendo Lunchbox. When JD Vance was being honest, he was saying Trump was a piece of shit and it would be a disgrace if he won the nomination. But then it got to the point where JD Vance, like the overwhelming majority of the Republican Party, realized they would do anything for power. And he went for it. I feel JD Vance is someone who, when the wife makes him sleep on the couch, it's a reward. Yes. Like I said, not true, but very funny. It's as true as all the weird visual memes about him. And they're just funny. It's just like, what the fuck is that about? Those weird demonic baby memes. Okay, now I feel like I want to make myself a proper old fashioned, because that one with my homemade Applejack wasn't terrible, but wasn't fantastic. So I want to try and make myself something that I think is fantastic. Okay, so we've got to put a bit of thought into it. Ooh. Oh, you know what? Like maybe a Sazerac, a brandy whiskey split. Oh, just a Christmas old fashioned. Christmas brandy, Christmas sugar syrup. Oops, too much. C'est la vie. Okay, how have I got that on there? That's just completely wrong. I don't know what I've done there. But it is what it is. Okay. Christmas brandy. Go back in there. Get in. Get in there, boy. And rather than whiskey, Christmas gin. From however many years ago this is. No. Okay. And Jesus, I almost caused a disaster there. And I think this calls for black walnut bitters. Where are they? There. Just a little bit though. These bitters are weirdly strong. just aromatic bitters. All right. An experimental drink. How good is it, my experimental drink? There is that Nintendo lunchbox. Vance does have a brown wife, and the MAGAs are probably going to say. I think there's clearly a bunch of people in the Republican Party who think they can seize power when Trump's gone and, do their nefarious deeds. But I think they, like the Democrats, may be underestimating Trump's charisma and ability to appeal to a very zealous fan base that the rest of them don't actually have. But trying to predict the future generally is a mug's game, but trying to predict the future in a situation that's this volatile is seriously a mug's game. People will still try and do it. And there'll be so many different predictions. I mean, someone will be right. And there's a better than even chance someone who makes a big prediction and gets it right, it'll go to their head and they'll think, yes, I am so smart, SMRT. And it's just like, it was blind fucking luck, man. There's such a volatile scenario. There are dozens of potential outcomes. The fact that you randomly pick the right one doesn't necessarily mean a lot. Fuck yeah. Oh, yes. That's what I wanted. A drink that I could be enthusiastic about. And I enthusiastically embrace this. God, just that little bit of that black walnut bitters is so strong. What's the line as bitter almonds? I was going to say bitter walnuts, but bitter almonds is cyanide, isn't it? Fuck, that's good. Like there are a few seeds in things that, if prepared in a particular way, are poisonous. Nintendo Lunchbox, I heard Florida lost all its Canadian snowbirds. Housing markets is a shambles. Yeah, well, when there was that housing crisis, what was it, in the 90s or whatever, I feel like Florida was one of the worst hit places. So, do I like whole grain bread? I mean, I don't hate whole grain bread. I don't have very often. But having a very minimal amount of bread now because of my theory that I should be on low carb stuff for a while. Oh no! For the elderly. In primary school, I used to sing TDK does amazing things to my sister. Holy shit, kids are so easily amused. Come up with something silly that's somewhat naughty. And you're endlessly amused by it. It's ridiculous. What's going on? What's going on? Looking at some messages, they're nothing very enthralling. Honey, I use tapes. Definitely TDK. Very big into cassettes. That's how you could form your own mixtapes. Used to tape stuff off the radio, which was very difficult with commercial radio because the DJs would talk right up, like talk over the musical intro and wouldn't stop talking to the microsecond before the vocals started in the song. And it was to thwart people doing home taping. And I would still come up with good mixtapes. I remember I would come up with such good mixtapes. People would go like, "How do you have all these records and stuff?" I'm like, dude, I'm just taping it off the radio. I just had the patience to sit there and go, I want this one. Like you'd have it on pause, record, pause. And it's like, yeah, this one, take pause off. And I'd end up with good mixtapes. And then when I did have actual money to buy records, make mixtapes from them. And literally, whenever someone was recording mixtapes from the radio, felt so clever recording music by plugging a stereo into the TV, recording Rage. I would also applaud you for that. But then again, Rage did not come out until I was at uni, I think. Okay, I definitely made Gmail shit itself by trying to change what I was logged into. That's weird. Rage launch date. 2010. No, that was a game. When did Rage start in Australia? 87. Yeah, when I was at uni. It was so dominated by heavy metal in the early days until they broadened it. They figured the only people who were up late at night wanting music wanted heavy metal. Nintendo Lunchbox waited for hours watching MTV to record Hit Me Baby One More Time. Also, we did not have MTV in Australia. We did have some music video shows. And I also had some VHS recordings of music clips. Ability, what sucked is some music vids had talking bits at the start of the clip. That's true. Ability weren't making mixtapes till 1990. I was making them in 1980 because I'm old. So that's the way it goes. I'm just G'ing up. Give me a few more years. Like I said, I'm just gonna bloody live stream all the time. Be on Twitch. Promote myself as the oldest person on Twitch. And Filthy Patron, Hit Me Baby One More Time came out. Downloading MP3s on MIC. My first bootleg MP3 was emailed to me. A friend emailed me Perfect Drug by 9 Inch Nails. That was my first bootleg MP3. Still remember that. Nintendo Lunchbox, your mixtape was like 86. First cassette, Olivia Newton-John. Nice. I think I need to drink something non-alcoholic. First hour down. Oh, I feel like I should go and get some more pink lemonade. But you know what? I'm here. I'll just have my mineral water. And I forgot to go out and get more pink lemonade while it was half price. More fool me. Oh well. The moment passed. I have so many non-alcoholic options. Yes. Nintendo Lunchbox chat should tell me to hydrate. Safa. Well, Bruce's cassettes better quality than recorded. What does that sentence mean, Safa? I feel like your first cassette you bought was George Michael's Faith, but Mum confiscated it because it had "I Want Your Sex." Nice. Um, Justin, the question's not what cocktail will I make if Trump dies. It's how many cocktails will I make if Trump dies? All the cocktails is the answer. Factory. Okay, but again, that sentence doesn't make any sense. So are you saying, okay, there are too many variables into what you're saying? Are you, for instance, saying is if you buy from the shop an album released on cassette, would that be better quality than if, for instance, you recorded the vinyl version of the album onto a cassette at home? Is that essentially what you're asking? Okay. Okay, now that I actually know what you're asking, Safa, there are still too many variables to give an absolute answer to that. Uh, you could buy blank cassettes that were much higher quality than the record label released cassettes, and you might have a really high end home system. So when you recorded vinyl, and vinyl was a better sound than cassettes generally. But as Home for the Elderly says, in general, a store bought cassette would sound better than a home recorded cassette. But there are a lot of variables that could change that outcome. Ability after the shitty Perth weather, the Queensland weather's incredible. You got sunburned and you loved it. You can't easily put vinyl in a car anyway. There was the format that never really took off in Australia, 8-track cartridges. But there was a period in the US where they were really popular in cars. I mean, what was really funny is like they there was a portable CD, like, because it was ages until there were CD players in cars. But there were these portable CD players you could get that had a thing you could plug into a car. In fact, the trippiest one I ever saw was an actual cassette that you would plug this portable CD player into, and the cassette just had a little loop of tape. So what was happening when you plugged the CD player into the cassette was recording a few seconds of the CD and going back around and wiping and recording. It was very weird, trippy bit of technology. And yes, Home Fidelity, you get the chrome tapes, which would broadly, but like I said, there's no black and white answer to were label released cassettes better than home recorded cassettes. There's no black and white answer because there's too many variables. Yes, excellent point, Nintendo Lunchbox. 8 tracks would melt in a hot car. I literally only knew one person in Australia who had an 8-track in their car. Oh yeah, stuff from like mine has Bluetooth, so I can play stuff on my phone, and it'll come through the car stereo. That's the ultimate luxury, I think. Bluetooth. Yes, I mean MP3 players were good. Like you put the auxiliary cord into the friggin' tape deck, but Bluetooth gives you more freedom. I have to admit, with the music streaming, I do like if you're on a road trip, thinking, "Oh, what genre do I want to listen to?" and pick one song that you like from a particular genre, and then essentially tell it to auto-generate a playlist based on the first one you picked. That can be fun. The other day, Nintendo and 8-tracks sometimes get out of sync with the tape. You hear a shadow of the next track. Ah, Nintendo Lunchbox CD player, cassette adapter, didn't have a reel of tape. Had a sensor touch. Okay, I'm going to believe you. I feel like you know the technology better than me, Nintendo Lunchbox. Stuff you use your mobile's Bluetooth in. Again, your typing lets you down. I have no idea what you're saying there. It's like, thank you. I'm so into audiobooks at the moment. Just like going to work, or if I'm doing some boring chats, like, tomorrow I'll clean up the bar and then stack the dishwasher. That's not long. That's like 5-10 minutes. But I'll listen to an audiobook while I'm doing it. You shouldn't listen to headphones in a car, Safa. I'm just talking about in a car I use Bluetooth. Ugh. Yep, home for the audio. I just assumed Nintendo Lunchbox was correct about the tape adapter. Said with confidence, and it sounded like, oh yeah, they know what they're talking about. Assumed my take was wrong. But yeah, no, we go through so many waves of technology. Oh, and actually, talking about technology, I was watching a video podcast on YouTube for the stream, Hassan Minhaj, and this one was with Neil deGrasse Tyson, talking about science generally, but also they're having a little talk about AI. And Hassan saying, like, is AI going to fuck us all up? And Neil deGrasse Tyson was essentially saying he didn't think it would. And he's saying, like, when people are worried about, AI is going to take jobs, and he points to how, like, in about a 10-year period, cars almost totally replaced horses, which of course wiped out whole industries of making wagons and whips and harnesses and all those things, and people just took different jobs. So thinking, there'll be different jobs after AI, but it's like, oh, will they? And then I realized, as I was thinking this, like, this feels different. When you really look at history, everyone at every period feels what's happening to them is different. You can't talk about what happened before because this is different. And also, it's extremely common throughout human history for people to think they're living in the end times. This is it. There's going to be societal collapse. Admittedly, sometimes they were right. Empires fall, as it were. But, most of the time people think, I'm living in the most important time. What's happening now is different to everything else. And just because the same cycle repeated itself all these other times, this time it will be different. I genuinely don't know. I think a big thing is most of the talk about AI, both good and bad, is bullshit hype. The evil tech pro shitheads behind most of it believe they will profit from both the positive and negative hype, and so they really push it. I don't know where it's going to end up. Yeah, exactly. Home for the elderly. People who got knocked out of manufacturing was told, learn to code, and now there's going to be impacts of coding. Although, mind you, it's been repeatedly shown AI code is shit code. But Who actually is? Maybe it'd be like Y2K when they needed all the COBOL programmers to fix things. People who hadn't used those coding skills for 20 years were suddenly in massive demand. Maybe if stupid companies rely on AI for code and it all fucks up in 10 years. It's like, we desperately need to get the coders that we sacked 10 years ago to come back and fix everything. I don't know. It's very volatile. And the more volatile something is, the harder it is to predict outcomes. But I do really stick to the hype around AI, both positive as it'll do everything, it'll be wonderful, and the negative are going, oh no, fucking Skynet, oh, it's going to wipe people's out. I think both extremes of the hype are fucking bullshit. During lunch, we had a friend making a fire pit asked ChatGPT to calculate how much cement. He got it correct using math. Is it good for math? That was a notorious weak point of it. That it would actually, and I know. Look, the models get better, but what I worry is as the models get broadly better, the errors they introduce that they charitably call hallucinations, it's just wrong information, false information presented in a very confident tone. The better they get, the more damaging their mistakes are going to be, the more damaging the incorrect information is going to be. Because people are going to be like, it's so much better. I'm going to trust it and it's going to be good. And oh no, it introduced an error and it's a super, super serious error. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to keep getting better or if it's going to plateau. Is AI just going to be the next, VR headset or 3D movies? Stuff that gets pushed every decade or so, gets really hyped for a year or two, then fades away because ultimately people don't want it. Justin, trying to get ChatGPT to do your tax return. Has it 12 times to put a figure in the right box? Yeah, I would not use it to do a tax return. Absolutely not. Absolutely. The thing about ChatGPT 5 being less personal is interesting. So, if companies want to build data centers in Australia, I mean, there is a spectrum of reasons to have data centers. Right? Force people to use. How do you force someone to use AI? So, I love the writer Cory Doctorow said the AI hype merchants who say AI can do your job are wrong, but they can convince your boss that he can sack you and have AI do your job, and it'll do your job badly. Yes, I mean, building all those data centers, taking over farmland and all that sort of stuff, could say it's here to stay, or it could be just another bubble. But again, now we're getting ambiguous, like AI, force people to use AI, like, traffic lights that change their cycle according to traffic flow, because there's the traffic cameras that are tracking the cars. That's AI. So the solar panels already taking over farmland. Yes and no. Oh God, the AI sludge Google put at the start of search results is so fucked. I still think the stupidest one that I've seen so far is Facebook. Not under every post, but under a lot of people's posts, they'll put these AI generated suggested search terms, and they're so fucking stupid. And it's like so needy and desperate, like, hey, use our AI. We're telling investors AI is the next big thing. Uh, oh, and it's so shitty. It's so stupid. Uh, but in my mind, there's there's no question the AI thing's a bubble. It's just the only question is how severe a bubble was. Like we had the dot com bubble. Uh, Obviously, well, at least I think the internet was a super good thing. But in the late 90s, you got this hyperactive investment hype, companies that were never going to generate a profit being valued at hundreds of millions of dollars and then going bust. I think it's inevitable AI will have the same bust, but yes, we had the dot com boom then and the dot com bust. But what we were left with, with the functional bits of the internet were good. So maybe we get past the ridiculous bullshit hype cycle of AI, and 90+% of the companies going AI go bust. But maybe we have something useful afterwards. I don't know. But to my mind, and to the minds of people who are way smarter than me, there's no doubt there's a massive bullshit bubble that is going to burst. And the overwhelming majority of companies who are all about AI are going to disappear because there's just so much bullshit. Uh, but maybe we have something useful again. Maybe we really do have that change. It's like, oh, the world changes as a result of good quality AI tools being widespread and whatnot. But of course, again, another thing uh, that the AI companies try to hide is they don't have a path to profitability. What they like, we've been talking about them building those data centers. Those things are hideously expensive, and the fucking AI companies are only making pennies for each dollar they spend. Um, and the investment hype is never going to be realized. Nintendo Lunchbox, one step closer to the singularity, aka the rapture of the nerds. In as much as the singularity, and I think there are a few definitions of the singularity, broadly makes as much logical sense as evangelical Christian theology talking about the rapture at the end of days. It is incredible how much of this shit is magical thinking. Oh, like, okay, if we talk, to my mind, the most common definition of the singularity is when computers or programs develop genuine intelligence and self awareness and outstrip human intelligence and can build and create of their own volition past there. And another common element that you get nerds putting into the singularity is you would be able to upload your consciousness into a computer or an internet. Uh, and so your mind will live forever. Uh, and that shit's all just magical thinking, which is not to say that it's impossible that it will come true or that something very like that will come true. It's just that they don't have a logical constructed series of tasks to complete to achieve that. It's the underpants gnomes in South Park. Step 1, gather underpants. Step 3, profit. Step 2, and that's what the singularity is. Step 1, keep making more powerful computers and programs. Step 3, the singularity. Step 2, Safa, do I think $35 for 120 gig? I have no idea. Hannah, hello. Oh, you're giving us a quick Super Baby update? Thank you. Always like getting Super Baby updates. Always happy to hear from you, no matter what the topic. It's all good stuff. Divert me from going on and on about fucking AI. Safa, like Palpatine, Rise of Skywalker. Yes! God, that was shitty writing. Somehow Palpatine returned. Greg, a founder of a company talking about uploading a consciousness to a company he's now described sounds like suicide. Oh, yeah, it's all bullshit. And so Super Baby is off medication, being monitored for a couple of days. Infection shows no sign of returning. Get discharged in the next couple of days. Good vibes. Yes, more good vibes. And did you to make the infection go away from Super Baby and leave the medical care and back to the family. That's what we want to hear. Sophie, you're getting rain. Yeah, we had rain and freaking wind. It was a dark and gloomy day today, honestly. Are they still predicting shit heaps rain for that? Oh, that's the wrong app. I was getting Tram Tracker and Bomb mixed up. Okay. Not a particularly low overnight. 10. Okay, what are we saying? 10 to 15, 1 to 7 millimeters. Thursday, 8 to 15, 1 to 6 millimeters. Friday, 8 to 14, 5 to 15 millimeters. Saturday, 5 to, oh, fuck, that's cold, 5 to 13, 1 to 8 millimeters. Sunday, 7 to 16, 0. Okay, Jesus Christ, are we going to get rained on date night? Showers easing. Showers in the morning. Possible small hail in the morning. Okay, maybe it'll be okay for date night. But cold. But I've got my big fake sheepskin jacket. Big old 3/4 length coat. I'll wear that out on date night. Wear the Super and Super Baby. Nice. Yeah, I think the good vibes are good. Nintendo Electronics. Vegas got rain yesterday. Calm monsoon season. You got to 19 in Canberra. We were 20 yesterday, Justin. Yeah, no, we've done that before. Umbrellas on date night, but it's too early to say. But the mid-range forecast for Saturday is saying the rain will be in the morning. So hopefully it won't be raining in the evening, but it looks like it will be friggin' cold in the evening. But that's okay. Where are we? Okay, the place we're going is right next to a train station. So we'd be doing the walk about 10 minutes to a tram stop, get on the tram, get off, train, go a couple stations, we're there. So the exposed bit is our 10 walk from home to a tram stop. So I guess we'll just see how that goes. Yep, Greg, basically all week rain for us. God, 28 in Brisbane. Holy shit. Did I say walkabout? Walkabout has very specific meaning. And I knew a guy. It's a real thing with a lot of Indigenous Australians. There are a few reasons to go walkabout. One was if you had problems. So I think it was a meditative thing. You would, if you had a lot of problems, you'd leave where you're saying and just go walkabout on your own, and you think about stuff. You know what? And there's also a theory that whatever the fuck was troubling you would be sorted out by the time you got back. But Yeah, I knew a guy at uni. He would literally do it. Where's Malcolm? He's gone walkabout. Okay. Had some stress that was building up. He had to get out, so he's gone walkabout for a while. Okay. Also, oh god, okay, he was a dancer. He danced with the Bangara dance troupe before he was at doing our course at uni, and so he did a demo one time because we knew a whole spectrum of Indigenous dance, and he's doing a demo in one of our spaces, and he says to yes, Malcolm was Aboriginal. Bangara was an Aboriginal dance troupe. And he said, okay, the next one, this is one, and he told the story about it. It was about this spirit and whatnot. And they do it around a campfire, the kids. And he goes, if I make eye contact with you, don't freak out. It's like I'm not casting any spells or anything. Okay, it's a whole thing. And he's like in this dance, he's uh personifying an evil spirit, basically. So anyway, I thought, that's funny, Malcolm. What do you mean? Don't worry if you make eye contact. And he's doing this stuff, and the physicality of what he was, because he was an incredible dancer, and the physicality of what he was doing was amazing. And at one point, he did make eye contact with me, and it was so intense. It was like, oh, I know why you gave everyone the warning not to freak out, because you're freaking me out, man. So okay, and I remember the one thing. He was like this tall, lanky guy, and we're in Bathurst in probably winter. It's cold. He's wearing tracksuit. He's going like, "I'm going to dance," and he did a little intro, da, 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 and uh, he took his tracky pants off. He's wearing shorts, and he had dancer's legs. Like he was super toned. And when he took the long pants off and he flexed, I swear to God, there was this audible female moan from the audience, just like, oh, it's so funny. Oh yeah, no, Home Theory. Everything I did at uni, the Angry Aussie YouTube channel would not have been what it was, or maybe would not have existed at all without my uni course. But particularly the whole mask thing I used to do. I learned mask work at college, dates back to medieval Europe, particularly Italy, the Commedia dell'arte tradition. There's a whole thing of masks being characters. Mask stuff goes back to ancient Greece, but because of the training I did, when I see masks, particularly half masks, are really cool because it's freaky how alive they seem if there's a real mouth, like completely unchanging expression on the top half, but an active mouth. See, Safa ninjas, they're not theatre, Safa, but you did get kabuki, and there was mask theatre in different parts of Asia, definitely. But yeah, for me, because of the training I do, if I get a mask, I almost instantly see it as a character. Like if I put it on, I'll make it a character pretty much straight away. And I'll start reading all sorts of things. Oh, Clutch Cargo, Nintendo Lunchbox. Those were those ones where it was a cartoon, but it wasn't animated. It was a still image, but they used very primitive video technology to superimpose a real mouth talking. And again, which is freaky because my favorite thing about them is a lot of them, the drawing would be in three-quarter view, but the mouth was straight on, which mentally gave you this picture of someone with a mouth on the side of their face. And people the my socialist beliefs, workers should have shares that come in. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, seriously. It's more anarchist than socialist, my political ideals I got from uni. But yeah, it was the big thing of the move from going to school in Dubbo and feeling like a weirdo and an outcast, and getting treated like shit a lot. And then going to uni, and there were older people who were smarter and more well traveled than anyone I ever went to school with. And they were nice to me. And I thought, oh, well, maybe the problem wasn't completely me. I mean, I'll fess up to we haven't had anyone from Dubbo on the stream for a while, but I would definitely fess up to anyone from Dubbo. Look, part of the problem at school in Dubbo is I was a bit of a fucking dick, quite honestly. But I think all teenagers are. But yes, while feeling hard done by a lot of shit that happened when I was at school, I wasn't completely friggin' flawless. Okay, home for the elderly. Difference between anarchism and socialism. Socialism is a state-controlled system. Anarchism is no central authority. You get various flavors of anarchism. And a slightly more organized version is called anarcho-syndicalism, whereas in local people form what's known syndicates. In fact, as a hoot, the anarchist peasants in Monty Python and the Holy Grail actually give a very good explanation of anarcho-syndicalism. They go, we take it as turns to act as a sort of executive in charge, but any decision of the executive has to be ratified by a simple majority or a three-quarters majority. They actually give a really good explanation of anarcho-syndicalism. The main difference between socialism and anarchism is socialism is formed around a central government, a central committee, whereas anarchism is like, no, we don't want a hierarchy. Ray, sneezing so hard your spine pops. Nice. Ooh, over there, everyone at Australia Zoo was talking about Dubbo Zoo. Yeah, an anarchist system doesn't have a formalized permanent hierarchy. A socialist system does have a formalized permanent hierarchy. And again, the golden theory of socialism is it's all done for the greater good. But you do get the socialism is a command and control thing. Capitalism is a command and control thing. Arguably, like the anarchist view of capitalism and socialism or communism, capitalism is market controlled capitalism, and socialism, communism is state controlled capitalism, basically. Safa, what do I know about Free State of Ukraine 100 years ago? I have actually heard a little bit. Ukraine has had such a hard time for centuries, usually trying to get under the thumb of Russia, or in the 20th century, the Soviets. But yeah. I got possums running around overhead at the moment. Actually, I just saw back a little bit in chat, Ninja in the Lunchbox, you're saying college helps some kids realize your parents aren't always right. Yeah, I think I'd already worked that out. But probably the biggest thing for me at college is realizing maybe I'm not completely the problem. Sava, they had an anarchist state for a bit before the socialists grabbed them up. I think Behind the Bastards they do Christmas episodes on awesome people from history instead of bastards. And I think they had one a year or two ago about a Ukrainian guy who was, I think is what you're talking about, having trying to have a free state in Ukraine, who ended up getting fucked up by the Soviets. Because that's just the way it goes. So it's like the Spanish Revolution. the anarchists were setting up some very successful cities, and the communists ended up siding with the fascists because what the communists want power, and the anarchists were going to eradicate power structures which the communists couldn't come back from. And the communists were going like, oh, maybe we can cut a deal with the fascists because we both want a power structure. And so the communists fucked over the anarchists and they all got fucking killed. And then the fascists killed the communists. In modern politics, that's why I talk about the centrists or the small L liberals who spout this utter shit where they hate the radical left. They're as bad as the radical right. Like, fuck you, you mealy-mouthed fuck. You are fucking traitors. The General Lunchbox. I hear about the guy moved his family from the US to Russia. They drafted him and he got sent to the front line. Oh, God. What, do you mean now with Ukraine? Or that sounds like stuff that would have happened over history. Well, Rays, I completely disagree with you about radical anything. Largely because we live in a shit environment and radical change is required. It was this year. Someone go, okay, yeah, there you go. Well, I mean, move to Russia. You're going to get what you freaking deserve at the moment. If you're thinking fucking tin pot dictator is a good idea, definitely sounds like something a radical would sound, Rays. No two ways about it. But I just don't go for this soft centrist bullshit. It's just like, oh, both sides are bad. Like, no, fuck off. Pick a lane. Because what's happened repeatedly is leftists who are trying to get change get fucking sold out by soft middle of the road wankers who then just spend their time hoping the hard right doesn't fuck them as much as they're fucking the left. It's kind of funny, like when mainstream lefties, like people who mainly put all their faith in the Labour Party or the Democrats, and they can't understand when marginalized minorities won't side with them or are hesitant to side with them. They're like, well, because the Conservatives are definitely going to fuck you over. And they're blind to the fact that the people in these marginalized groups have gone, yeah, but you centrists have also repeatedly fucked us over. So I don't trust you. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong when you say the Conservatives will definitely fuck us over, but we've just had too many experiences of you centrists fucking selling us out in a heartbeat. Oh, that's awesome, Home Fidelity. Guy left America because it's too woke, and then he got drafted in Russia. Friggin' awesome. Rays, you had headaches all weekend. Is that like physical headaches? Possibly caused by people hitting you or something? It was like, damn. What are we? 139. Safa Nesta Marco. Is that the Ukrainian guy you're talking about there? Okay, now I want to look it up. Hey, Petty Wallaby, how are you? Oh my goodness, how are you? Did I use your cartoon tonight? I forget what I use as the thumbnails. Either tonight, I think, yeah, I'm using one of your cartoons as the thumbnail tonight, aren't I? My Canadian friend. All right, I'm going to look it up, Safa. I think Behind the Bastards did an episode on him. Oh. Wall of Blowing Dust sweeps through Burning Man. Yeah, well, that happens in Burning Man. Okay, so um, behind, no, behind the bastards. What do you think? Nestor Marco. Okay, yes, Safa. You want to look this up. Um, Behind the Bastards have a two-parter from 2023. Nestor Marco, anarchist warlord and book club aficionado. So I think you'd enjoy that. Look up the Behind the Bastards on Nestor Marco. Ah, nice, Petty Wallaby. You got attracted by the thumbnail. Awesome. For anyone who saw the thumbnail for tonight, uh, that's my first persona that Petty Wallaby created for me. That's me as a Tasmanian devil. She also did Aidsy as a wombat, which was awesome. Okay, so yeah, so because I generally find the Behind the Bastards podcasts entertaining, but yeah, given your history in Ukrainian history, I think you'd like the Nestor Marco one. Just seeing if I have Petty Wallaby's artwork with Aidsy immediately handy. I'm not sure. I do. I do. Okay. All right. So I got to. I'll show you this. And this one was inspired by me making Aidsy watch horror movies on the watching movies with Aidsy and Angry. So yes, this on the right is Aidsy as a wombat being mortified by the movie I made him watch. On me is left is me as a Tasmanian devil laughing at the fact Aidsy is freaking out at the horror movie. And the full version of the Angry Aussie as Tasmanian devil. Where is it? It's this one. Back when I wore the white shirt and the braces. So, yes, that's me as Tasmanian devil. Actually, Nintendo Lunchbox, Human Centipede is one we didn't watch. We watched quite a few Japan horror ones. Tokyo Gore Police, Big Tit Zombie. But yeah, no, Human Centipede wasn't one of them. I don't have that. Yes, particularly we watched a couple of very gory ones. I don't remember which other horror ones we watched. Oh god, now I want to see if I can find them. Oh, Nintendo Lunchbox. I still haven't seen a Serbian film, which is apparently terrible, as in just shocking and awful. What do we got going on? Wait, I want to look at my channel. Videos. And search. Actually, if I put watching, is that just going to bring them all up? Okay. So look at these. What do we got? We watched Zombieland was one. Dread, Tokyo Gore Police, Pacific Rim, The Green Hornet, 30 Days of Night. He didn't like that. That's one of my favorite vampire films. We did all the Harry Potter movies. We did the Hobbit movies. We did the Hunger Games movies. Hobo with a Shotgun. What else did we watch? Trying to see. Those are the big ones. So were there any others we did commentary tracks for? Hey, what is this doing to me? Let me double check and see if there was anything else. Going back through them, yeah. No. Pacific Games, Hunger Games, 30 Days of a Night, The Hobbit. Maybe that was all of them. That might be all of them. Yep, I don't know. I think that's all our commentary tracks. I mean, that's a few because we did a few franchise ones, the Harry Potter and Hobbit and Hunger Games. Petty Willoughby's Tokyo Gore Police that inspired your drawing. That sounds about right. Yes. But what was funny, there were those Japanese horror films that were made at a certain period in time with digital effects that weren't as good as what people were doing on YouTube. And I always come back to Corridor Digital, these guys who did really amazing effects videos. At a couple of Japanese horror films whose digital special effects were sub YouTube quality. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly. I think, all right, we're running out 10 minutes to go. Probably won't pour myself another drink. Might just put a little bit of my liqueur in there. My excuse at the end of the stream for putting a little bit of liqueur in with the ice and orange peel is because Mrs. Angry's going to use the orange peel in her hot chocolate in the morning. So I put the liqueur in there to give it a bit more flavor. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But also, you see, there's hardly any left, and there's not that much of the sugar syrup. So I think sometime this week, I need. Well, step one is to make more of the sugar syrup. And then from that, make some more liqueur. Ooh. So I've kind of done two versions of liqueur. One is where it's like a third the sugar syrup and 2/3 booze. But also I did some where I just stuck. So okay, I said this heaps on the stream, but the way I make this special sugar syrup is I get slice up apple, cover it in sugar, usually brown sugar, but sometimes white sugar or unrefined sugar, uh, and the sugar draws all the moisture out of the apples and liquefies, and then you leave it for a day or so and it liquefies. And I get cooking spices like cinnamon and allspice and star anise and cardamom and nutmeg, whatever I find in the cupboard, basically. And I toast them in a saucepan so all the flavors are coming out. And then I pour the syrup over that and let that simmer for a while. So you get this nice sort of Christmas pud flavors going through the syrup, which is super friggin' yummy. So that's how I make the syrup. And yeah, and then to make a liqueur, I do it like 1/3 the syrup and 2/3 booze. Often a mix of rum, brandy, and whiskey. But then also, when I drain the syrup and I'm left with the cooking spices, it's like sugar impregnated cooking spices. I've just steeped them in booze, and that makes really yummy booze, quite honestly, even without all the sugar. So, not too bad. But also, then Mrs. Angry, if I leave the cooking spices and drain the sugar off them, she saves the spices, dries them out a little, and then grinds them up in a herb grinder. And then she's got these little make your own tea bag things. Pours the powder of this stuff in the tea bag, seals it up, and like makes a cup of tea. She says it's super yummy. And I was like, yeah, maybe I need to do that with some booze. Make little tea bags of it and steep that in some booze. Get some very Christmas vibes, Christmas pud booze, basically, with all those Christmas pud cooking spices. God damn, that liqueur is good though. I think I definitely need to make some more. And also, I use that sugar syrup in making eggnog as well. I don't need eggnog. I've got 2 bottles of it. What should I have done back in July, Safa? It is almost September. The year is racing away from us. I actually just had a flashback because I think we're going to have a cold night. Christmas pud. Oh, yeah, Christmas in July. You think I should have? I kind of was planning to, and it never happened at work. But as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I might talk to the team, say, hey, should I bring in eggnog for after our team lunch on Monday? Just as a little treat for the team. Because I got a really good team. Like I think it's kind of the best workplace I've ever had, actually. I've been there like 5. I suppose I'm coming up on 6 years. In December, it'll be 6 years. I think it's the best workplace I've ever had, which honestly, late in life, as it is for me, to actually get a workplace that good. A little bit surprising. Bit of a good deal, really. So no, it's is it the longest? I was about to really quickly say no, but the accurate answer might be yes. It's certainly, if my plan stays in place, because I literally intend to ride this through to retirement, which could be another 10 years. It would definitely be the longest then. But yeah, it's like for the first 3 years I was a contractor, and then it's like then I'm permanent. But if you count it all as one thing, I think it probably is the longest I've been in one place, actually, which is pretty freaky. Pity Wallaby, your workplace is good because almost nobody comes to the office in person anymore. Oh, you love having the office to yourself. Nice. I don't go into the office that often, usually twice a week. This week only once. I went in on Monday. I normally would have gone in today as well. But my boss was working from home because she had a cold and she basically lost her voice. And so she's recuperating, working from home. And I checked with her on Monday. Are you going to be on Tuesday? Because I actually had a couple of meetings with her today. And she said no. And I'm like, cool. So it went from being almost pointless for me to go into the office today to being completely pointless. So I didn't go in. And then it was super shit weather. So I was really glad I stayed home. So far, I have no idea if the boss did a COVID test or not. I know a guy on my team, the guy who reports to me, was sick over the weekend and took some time off. And I said, okay, you maybe should do a COVID test. And he said he did, and it returned negative. Pity Wallaby, you only go if you need to do something in person, serve to help someone. Otherwise, have you at home. Oh, fuck yeah. I fucking love working from home. Because I have Mrs. Angry working at home as well. It's such a treat. Like, I don't mind going into the office once or twice a week. Because, like I said, I probably working with the best team I've ever worked with. So I don't mind going in and seeing them, but I don't want to go in more than that. Fuck's sake. It's stupid. Only bad managers say they want people to come in because they're fucking control freaks and they're also trying to justify their own existence. Like, oh, people won't work there. It's your job to fucking manage people. So anyone who just goes, oh, people are going to come into the office, I go, oh, you're a bad manager. You just fucking suck, and you're trying to find excuses for why you suck. Anyway, Heidi, is my team called Heroes of Awesome Squad? They would be called that if I said it to them. Hey, should we be called Heroes of Awesome Squad? They would say yes. Hey, my cherry. I fucking love those cherries so much. At some point, probably not this week because I've got other stuff to do. I'm definitely making a video of how to use up the cherry syrup when you've had all your cherries in the jar. Oh, little thinking, an idea I've had for a while, and I have a huge amount of the cherry syrup left over from like the last 3 jars of cherries I emptied. But I may be actually doing a Halloween video this Friday, trying to make some skull ice. I kind of fucked it up last week, but it's so long to Halloween, I've got time to plan it, so I may be doing it this week. Pretty well. Sometimes it sucks. You're the only member of your team in Montreal. Never have to deal with managers because they're all in Toronto. Nice. No one cares what you do. Exactly. No one should care about you so long as you do the job. That's what always does my head in when you get these bullshit articles, media stories about, oh, how do we know what people are doing? It's like, for fuck's sake. It's your job to manage. It's like, oh, how do I know if people are working? Like, is the work getting done, you dense motherfucker? It's like, as a manager, your job is to go, oh, this is what I need you to do. And it's like, is it being done? Yes. Then shut the fuck up. Also, the idea that I can't waste time in the office is ridiculous because I can. I mean, again, I'm in a good job at the moment. There's a lot going on. So I don't, but there's certainly been some shit workplaces in the past where I've, staged passive resistance to their fuckery. I will absolutely do that shit if it calls for it. But anyway, look at that. It's bedtime. Sleepy Bobos. Retro Fury, all you do is waste time in the office. Thank you for chiming in, just for a good thing. Oh God, Bitty Wallaby, you're dealing. That's the worst sort of manager. They don't understand your job and don't know if it's done or not. That's the fucking worst. But I am going to bed now, so I will thank you, fine people, for keeping me company tonight. And all things being equal, I will be back on Thursday and Friday, not Saturday. It's date night. Saturday already booked in for date night, so we'll see what happens. But you all take care, and I will hopefully see you another time. But I'll say bye for now.
You are totally fucked up!